And a lot of providers are like, you're gonna have Pitocin, you're gonna have an epidural, da 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 da. Hi friends, how's it going today, you guys? So by the title, you know what I'm going to talk to you about today. Just before we kind of get into the tips and tricks that I have for having a natural birth in a hospital, I just want to give you a little background to my story if you're unfamiliar with it. My first delivery, I had a premature baby and I was really young, and I also had a hospital delivery, and I kind of just went with, whatever they told me to do. So I had an epidural with my daughter around like 8 centimeters, which is right around that transition time that can be really challenging for women. And I also had an episiotomy with her, and I had a forceps delivery. So I had a lot of interventions going on there. So my goal was to have the most natural delivery that I could have with my son. So I just wanted to share with you some of the ways that you can have a natural, unmedicated birth in a hospital. Now, I do just want to put it out there before we start in this video. I'm not a doctor. I'm not offering you any kind of medical advice or telling you what you should do. So before you take any of this advice that I have, mom to mom kind of thing, consult your primary care person or your OB or your midwife, whoever you are seeing for your pregnancy. So the first tip that I have for you in having your natural hospital delivery, so your unmedicated hospital delivery, is to really commit to that. You can commit to having a natural delivery if that's what you want to do, is sign a pledge with yourself. Put it in writing or write it down and say, I want to have a natural delivery and this is what I'm going to do. These are the steps that I'm going to take to have that natural delivery. Read and educate yourself about unmedicated delivery. Read about natural pain relievers. Read about how your body works and what's going to happen during delivery, especially if this is your first baby. Even reading some like pain management books are great. I use the pain management philosophy called hypnobirthing. They also do a series called Hypnobabies. And I feel like really like going inside of myself and focusing and kind of meditating really got me through some of the most difficult times of my delivery with Harrison. Get on the same page as your partner. My husband is actually a bigger advocate for natural delivery than I was. I mean, he was all for the natural delivery. He wanted as few pain medications as possible. He even got them to take down the amount of saline that I was having. He researched different natural induction methods, so things like the Foley bulb and walking and that kind of thing that weren't like a medication. So he was really on board with the idea of a really natural delivery. And it's really important for you and your partner to be on the same page when it comes to being in a stressful situation like giving birth. So make sure that you guys are on the same page. And this one's kind of a two-parter. So surround yourself with natural birth advocates and then like oust those Debbie Downers. Like I had a lot of friends who are really interested in natural birth and natural delivery. And anytime that I would start to have a fearful moment, I would go to them and I would say, this is what I'm feeling. I need you to tell me it's going to be okay. And what can I do to kind of get past this fear? And I definitely would not listen to any of the Debbie Downer type people who are like, birth is really hard. You're not going to be able to get through it. I made sure to only let those positive voices in my head and kind of keep the rest silent. Research your hospital and research your provider. I ended up going with a provider that I had not had previously in my like women exams because she was a midwife, and I knew that midwives really cared for moms and babies, and they really respected whatever choice it was that the mother wanted to make as far as her delivery. I also chose my hospital because they were one of the only in my area that actually allowed you to deliver your baby in water. At other hospitals in my area, they didn't have those options. And a lot of providers are like, you're going to have Pitocin, you're going to have an epidural, and then you end up away from the natural unmedicated birth that you are hoping for. Go on a tour, and when you're on that tour, ask questions. I'm going to give you some example questions right now, but I'm also going to write these down in the description so that you can have them to refer to later. Ask them what their C-section rate is. If it's high, it's probably not somewhere that's going to be super friendly with someone who wants to have a unmedicated natural delivery. Are there any restrictions on who's allowed in the room? If you end up wanting to have a doula or another support person come into the room who's not just your partner, they might or might not have restrictions on that. So make sure you check on that. How does your particular hospital support breastfeeding? Do you have a lactation consultant on site? Do you have a La Leche League meeting? Like, what's your philosophy on that? Can I eat and drink during labor? Can I choose my own laboring position? Can I move around during labor? Can I stay in the same room the whole time? Can I choose what position I deliver in? Can I have access to a birth ball? Do you have portable monitors? And can my partner stay with me until the baby is born? Do you keep your babies in the room or do you take them off to the nursery? Those are all amazing questions to ask your hospital, and it'll give you a great view on their philosophy as far as natural delivery and unmedicated birth goes. When you are there for your tour, take a look in the room. Is that somewhere you would feel comfortable delivering? Is that somewhere that you feel like you could be at peace? Because I think one of the big keys to a natural unmedicated birth is feeling like you are in a safe space where you can be peaceful and where you feel protected. So really take your time to research your hospital. It's super, super important and can kind of make or break your natural delivery. The next big tip that I have for you, if you're planning a natural unmedicated birth in a hospital, bring an advocate with you. The advocate that I chose was a doula, and if you've never heard of a doula, it's basically someone who serves the mom and who acts as like an advocate for the couple for what you want during your labor. So make sure that you have somebody that you trust. I definitely recommend hiring a doula if that's something that you can do in your budget. They are amazing. And doulas are not just for moms, honestly. I mean, like, that's their role, right? But our doula was super supportive to Brian when he was in the room. He had so many questions. She advocated for what he wanted as well. She answered his questions. She was fun and playful with him while he was waiting. She kind of showed him what to do to help me through labor, and it was overall just a great experience. I would consider her like a family friend now. So if you have the opportunity, hire a doula. The next thing that can lead to a very, very, very successful natural delivery in a hospital is to write a birth plan and bring copies with you. If your hospital knows what you want to do and they have it in writing, they are more likely to help you out and to help you achieve those goals than if, you're trying to tell them while you're in labor. And the more that you write it down, the more that it's going to become something that you're sort of convincing yourself, right? So if you're writing it down, you are able to really commit to those ideas as well. Unfortunately, a lot of hospitals don't take a super detailed birth plan very seriously. So my advice is to keep your birth plan to a 1 page, give it lots of white space so that they can see it. There's also a new version of a visual birth plan where it's lots of little icons across the page. And I'll link a template down below to a visual birth plan so that you all can see how to put those together as well. If you go into labor spontaneously and naturally, labor at home as long as possible. If you're someone that has a really quick labor and you know that about yourself, head on to the hospital. But if this is your first baby, it could take you anywhere between 12 to 56 bajillion. No, it could take you 12 to 56 hours to have a successful delivery. With that said, if your water breaks though, and you're not starting to have regular contractions, you do need to go in because you're then at risk for infection and that kind of thing. But if your water breaks and then you start getting good contractions, stay at home as long as possible, because as soon as you get to the hospital, they're going to start putting you on the clock. They're going to start seeing what kind of interventions they can offer to you and just sort of get you in sort of like a medical procedure. Your body is going to feel more comfortable at home. So if you can stay in that home environment where your body and your mind feel protected, you're going to have an easier time of progressing your labor. So again, a natural hospital birth can be done. So long story short, make sure that you follow these tips, get a good birth team, make sure you and your partner are on the same page, research your hospital, and become knowledgeable about how your body works and what you are going to need to be successful, and really, really commit to this natural birth if it's something that you want. So I hope that these tips were helpful for all of you mamas out there, and for you birth partners as well. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. If you want more content like this on like pregnancy and birth tips and that kind of thing, I have so many. So feel free to leave those in the comments below. And if you're new here, hit that red subscribe button below. It's just like, it's right down there. I don't know, like right around like here. It's like here somewhere, I don't know. But hit the subscribe button, and next to the subscribe button, you'll see a little bell. Hit that as well. Then you'll get notifications every time I post a video. And by the way, you guys, have fun today.